And here's welcome all of you joining us here live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. My hashtag is at Koinange Jeff, or rather my Twitter handle is at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. We've searched high and low to get someone on the bench to talk about all the issues I outlined at the beginning of the program. Only one person fits the bill. He's been in retirement for the last several months. That's why you haven't seen him on TV. We pulled him out of retirement, and he's come here, no holds barred, as fiery as he's ever been. His hashtag is at Tony Gachoka. It is time for the shocker from Gachoka in a Chinese outfit. Ni hao ma, Tony.
Enter the dragon, Koinange. How are you?
Good to see you, Tony. I love the outfit, man.
You know, I've been a father for football, enjoying the young man playing football.
Yes.
But the center cannot hold. You know, I don't remember, Jeff, Chino Achebe. Did you read it?
I sure indeed.
What did it say?
Things fall apart. Things fall apart.
What do you think, Jeff?
The center hasn't held.
It cannot hold.
Is that what's happening here, Tony? Is that what's happening?
I want to ask you a question. Who knows more about agro-leasing than His Excellency, my friend, Uhuru Kenyatta, who went to London on the public expense account and investigated at the Court of St. James the issue of agro-leasing? He tabled a report in Parliament and said, these are ghosts. How, Jeff, can we sit here today and allow payments to crooks who are here in this country? That's why I'm on the bench today. I'm here to talk to Uhuru, the president of Kenya, and to tell him I voted for him and I woke up at 4 in the morning. But we reject agro-leasing unequivocally, Jeff.
But Tony, when you talk about Anglo-leasing, there was Anglo-leasing per se, and then there were these Anglo-leasing type deals. There wasn't Anglo-leasing, they weren't related to Anglo-leasing. They were Anglo-leasing type deals. And this money we're being told to pay up, it was for services that were rendered, services that were provided. And we started paying. We paid about 6 million.
Are you living in dreamland?
Come on, Tony.
This country has an act called the External Loans and Credit Act. If you borrow money as a nation, it must be in the consolidated fund. I can tell you the Auditor General found, and the report of PricewaterhouseCoopers and the report of the president said agro-leasing was never sanctioned. What I'm saying, there were 18 companies which were ghost companies to give services that were never delivered. But let's leave services aside. The fraud became about borrowing on the name of Kenyans. Money was borrowed. $1 billion excess, $1.5 billion, borrowed on the name of Kenyans. We are paying interest for money, and we are paying that interest through the ghosts. Now, Jeff, for Kenyans to understand simply, we are being robbed in daylight by a few people who are near State House. And some of them are near the deputy president. And Jeff, I'm only here to say what Kenyans need to know. Who are these ghosts?
Who are these ghosts,
You can't go to Tony Gachoka for nothing but me to say who they are.
Who are these ghosts, Tony?
There is one man called James Bond. Jimmy Wanjigi is called James Bond. Have you ever watched James Bond? Yeah. 007. He's a guy who has, I don't know, survived from Boynet, has survived Saitoti and penetrated through Ruto and now has gone to State House. And I want to tell Uhuru, because I know he's watching, cancer can be defeated at stage 1. After stage 2, you need a doctor. After stage 3, you need God. After stage 4, you need to go to the funeral home. Now, listen to me. Cancer is malignant and the body is still beautiful. There is cancer stage 1. Agro-leasing is wrong. The president knows more about agro-leasing than you, Jeff, or me, because he investigated it. He has a report he has written in his name. I am defending the president internationally and locally. He cannot say, I am innocent of ICC, I am a good man, and his name means nothing. He signed his name to the PSC report on agro-leasing. And I want to say this today, because I have to say it squarely. You cannot loot the public when God has provided so well to the Kenyatta family, to this country. You cannot loot the public. We are impatient. I'm impatient. And Tony Gachoka will not be your voter if you pay agro-leasing.
But Tony, if we don't pay, there are consequences.
I'm saying, what consequences? The first thing is you arrest Amos Wako. Amos Wako refused all the agro-leasing payments were because Amos Wako wrote a legal opinion internationally saying that these were proper debts. He never gave a defense in this country. Jimmy Wanjigi is here. Deepak Kamani is here. We can call the ICC. We can call everybody for ICC. Why can't we call Africa? Why can't we call the UN? Why can't we not call the European states and say, now we made a mistake.
Yeah.
We have got discovery. This money was stolen. Let's arrest these people, charge them, freeze their assets, and if there is a difference, then Koinange, I'll pay it myself.
Okay, but Tony, you know, the names, you're throwing out names like it's a free-for-all.
Then why do you call me then? Yeah. Can you call anyone else?
But those are your thoughts. These
I
are
was
not
here
our
before
thoughts.
the ODM election. Yeah. I told you men will be in black. You don't listen to me. Koinange, throw me in the pool like you tried last time. Why are you calling me here? Let me say it as it is. Who are the ghosts of Aglo-Listen?
Yeah.
Can they sue me? My name is Tony Gachoka, P.O. Box 50705 200. Sue me tomorrow. I've told you the ghost. Now, before that, Jeff, let me ask you a question. Why are you scared about Aglo-Listen? Because there's nothing to be frightened about.
But Tony,
you're the
assets could be seized.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We have a Eurobond we're trying to float out there with a hell of a lot of money.
Yes.
We need to have that good name out there, Tony. And if it means paying up these ghosts, let's pay it. Let's move on.
Enter the dragon. Instead of China just bringing 300, I don't know how much money they have. If you want to give away this country, tell China to pay. But don't ask the people of Kenya to pay. You see, the problem is this. I'm asking you, are you telling me that the man who cannot afford mandazi or the students who fees want to be increased, Jeff, are you telling me that I remain silent? I want to remind you about Martin Luther King Jr. And I want this is a message to His Excellency the President. Good men, their lives end when they remain silent about things that matter. I will never allow Uhuru to give his signature to this fraud. You must arrest and charge the people and let justice be done. Because Aglo-Listen is not about a person. Let me remind you about Mudi Awori. This thing began when there was this passport deal. Then there was Christopher Murungaru, and Kibaki dumped him. Kibaki charged him. Uhuru must remember he went with State House with friends, and that's the biggest mistake he made. It's time to make them pay. It is time to allow everybody do what Matere Kirara did. Run. You have heard the song called The Gambler.
Yeah.
You got
Kenny
know,
Rogers.
What does it say?
It says you've got to know when to hold them.
When to hold up.
Know when to fold them.
When to walk away.
Know when to walk away.
And when to run.
Correct.
Uhuru, run. Run, Uhuru, away. Let's get going.
Tony, there's a phone call, man.
Oh, yeah.
And it might be him. It might be the president.
Yes, and he can only do one thing when he calls me. I say, I have the police arrested.
All right, you're live on JKL. Talk to me.
Hello, Jeff Koinange.
Hello.
Hello.
That's not the president for sure.
Oh, hi, Uhuru. How are you?
It's not.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead. What is your point?
My point is to tell Gachoka not to back down.
Not to back down.
Yeah, Gachoka should stay firm. Gachoka, go on and on.
Kangumu, he says. Kangumu, Tony. Okay. Asante, nashukuru. You hear that? Kangumu.
Jeff, you know, my wife woke up at 4 in the morning. When I went to the line to vote for Uhuru Kenyatta and Jubilee government, it was 6 in the morning. And there were people in the line till 6 p.m. 6 million people lined up for a dream that I believe. And you must defend the president.
Do you still believe in the dream, Tony?
I am saying today, I'm here to help the president. I'm here to tell him he still has a chance not to do this. Mwai Kibaki ran from this. And I'm saying Uhuru ran from this. It's not your problem. The problem I have here is the issue of credibility. Because the president investigated as chairman of PSC the issue of Aglo-Listen. He went to London. He talked to Githongo among many other issues. He sponsored a report in parliament and said in 60 days this matter must come to an end. How does the same president give his word to parliament and then pay thieves? I'm saying very simply, this president, if Kimayo cannot do his work, it will let us as Kenyans stay united. And this is not political. I don't care whether it's Jubilee or CORD, but we are not going to pay 100 billion shillings to people who delivered nothing to Kenya. Okay. We must reject Aglo-Listen.
All right, good point, Tony. Let's move on. Governors being kicked out literally every day. Yesterday, it was Wambora of Embu, for the second time, kicked out. And then the appeals court kicked Kidero out, although he was reinstated today by the Supreme Court. A little temporary reprieve, if you will.
Yes.
And then today again, Kericho County's Paul Chapkun. What in God's name is going on out there?
When the executive goes to bed, the country is run from the judiciary, Jeff. And that's the problem. This is why I'm telling the State House to wake up. If you don't give direction, even with a phone call, and you don't give direction to the country is run from the courts. When do we always go to the courts to deal with election issues? Let me say this. The Supreme Court was set up to deal with presidential petitions. It was not dealt there to remove or fight about governance. And Jeff, let me say this. The judiciary is taking a place in Kenyan politics that is dangerous. It reminds me of Pakistan. Do you remember Pakistan? Where the Supreme Court judge is as more powerful than a president. It's going to reach a place in this country where the courts are more powerful than the executive.
Tony.
And they are not elected.
Yeah.
They are appointed.
Stand by, Tony. We have Ruben from Eldoret. Ruben, you are live on JKL. Talk to me.
Hello, Jeff.
Yeah, Ruben, go ahead.
Robin, this is Robin from talking to Jeff, yeah?
You're live on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I just want to congratulate Tony Gachoka. This is a real man. He's been a real from the 90s, yeah?
All right.
I just want to tell him that he should carry on. He should be courageous. Keep on carrying on. I love you, Tony. You've been a real man.
All right. Thank you, Ruben from Eldoret. I tell you got some support, Tony.
Well, Jeff, let me tell you, this bench or this swimming pool, I'd rather stay on the bench. and let me say this, Jeff. Do you remember the presidents of Africa?
Yes.
Who is your most favorite? There was Nyerere, Mwalimu Nyerere.
Well, you know my favorite. It's going to be Madiba. It's going to be Madiba.
Okay, what about this guy from Bokassa? What was he called?
Central Africa.
What is he called? The guy with the gold chair?
John Bedell Bokassa.
And the guy
Remember him? He crowned himself like Napoleon.
Do you remember? And the guy Doe who was cut up in pieces?
Samuel Canyon Doe.
Now, the question is this. Does Uhuru remain like that or like that? Is Museveni your friend or a problem? Are you going to history or are you going to the dustbin? Now, I want to ask you about another African president, Hussein Mubarak. Where is he? He's in a hospital bed in a chain.
Yeah.
He was a dictator. Koinange at State House. Are you listening to me? Now, anyway, let me say this. Moving to the issue you asked me about governance, I would say this. Devolution will be the test of Jubilee and the test of the next election. I think the president cannot retreat from devolution. But I think the Senate and the governors' wars may destroy the dream of this election because devolved governments were meant to help the people. They become now a competition about resources.
Tony, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to take a commercial break. Come back. I want to come back to the governors, Tony.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's going to be a by-election in Nairobi, depending on what the Supreme Court rules? And who's going to be the next governor?
I would not want the man who throws stone called Waitito.
You wouldn't want him to be?
No, let me tell you. I don't know. I'm not in court. But I will not vote for Waitito who throws stones. Tony Gachoka is my handle.
What about Governor Mike Sonko?
Let me tell you, are you asking me about who? What's his name? This is the man who comes and goes. We are talking about history. This is a historical show. You brought me from retirement, Koinange. Can we talk about serious people?
Stand by. The views of Tony Gachoka are clearly not those of KTN. Oh my. Lawsuit after lawsuit. You're going to get me in trouble, man.
Why did you call me to the bench?
Oh, I need to use a fire extinguisher at some point, Tony. Because I tell you, the bench is literally just warming up. Tony Gachoka has come out unchained.
In a Mandarin suit.
The dragon is out. Keep tweeting at Tony Gachoka, at Koinange Jeff, hashtag JKL. And JKL will be back in a moment. Oh, God. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. And if you're just joining us, whatever Tony Gachoka's having, I think we should all have a bit of that. Because the man is on fire. And the tweets are coming in thick and fast. Edgar Okoba says, hate him or love him, Tony Gachoka is always right. He is a realist and a true Pan-African. We are behind you, Tony. Phil, of the famous Kumekucha Phil, he says, Tony Gachoka, now we're talking, my friend. Keep talking. Jimmy Wanjigi equals Anglo leasing. I said that months ago. Griffin says, Tony Gachoka, come slowly. We've just started the show. So let's come back to the count. Keep your tweets coming at Koinange Jeff, at Tony Gachoka, hashtag JKL.
Excuse me, Jeff. I used to know you as a singer.
Yes.
The coward of the county.
Coward of the county.
How
Kenny
did
Rogers.
it go? How did it go?
Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done.
Walk away from trouble. But sometimes you've got to fight.
When you're a man.
Now, let me make this clear to you, Jeff. Because Peter Arnett was your senior. I remember when the war was declared in Baghdad. George Bush Sr. was the president.
Yeah.
At the Oval Office, he called General Tommy Franks. And he said, we need to attack Baghdad in 5 minutes. And Tommy Franks told him, sir, you have only 7 minutes because the Shrek bombers are already up in the air. Their missiles, the Tomahawk, are ready from the sea and the Scud from the land. Sir, you have 7 minutes to decide because the wind speed is changing every second. And then George Bush said, attack. And the skies over Baghdad were illuminated from the air, the land, the sea, and under the water. It is time to attack the animal of corruption from the air, the land, the sea, and under the water, and here on the bench. And let me tell you, Jeff, and take no hostages, Koinange, let me say this. Why don't you want to emulate Peter Arnett? You are known as a CNN anchor, one of the most respected journalists in this country. Why are you not using this program to ask the question, why are we paying money for which we have not borrowed? Who are these ghosts and who are they? 1 man, 2 men can hold this country hostage? Let me ask you this, Jeff. If you have an order against the country called Kenya, you yourself have a court order saying that we pay $1 billion, 100 billion, or 1 billion, whatever. You're a man. You yourself can withdraw the same case if the case was out of corruption. And I've told you, this case is about corruption. Why can't you withdraw the case? And I'm only saying this unless you're protected from State House Kenya at the deputy president. And now let me enter into politics. I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
Do you know how Ruto entered into Jubilee? Am I allowed to speak about that?
Go on.
He came with Jimmy Wanjigi. He was born.
You know this for a fact.
I am telling you this. Can you call him now? Can you call William Ruto now?
No, he's at the Hague, man. He's at the ICC.
Can you call him wherever he is? Can you page him? Can you SMS him? And what I'm saying is this. Who is this man, Wanjigi? Who is he? That this country is begging. The president is begging. Parliament is begging for one man? Come on, one. Can we talk about something else?
Yeah.
About governors?
Yeah.
Who is this man? Come on. This is just, it's ridiculous as a nation. We host the Chinese premier here.
Yeah.
We sell our country. And then we mortgage ourselves to Wanjigi. And Deepak Kamani? Come on. Uhuru, can you act? Now, let's move on to other matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, really.
Who is this
Even
man,
you.
Gachoka?
I'm just asking you.
That's a shocker from Gachoka.
Has anyone ever gone to jail over agro-leasing in 10 years?
Nobody.
What's the problem?
We're moving on, Tony. If they call a by-election in Nairobi, can Kidero win it again? Can he come back?
I hope he does, for one reason only. He represents a geographical difference that Central Kenya and Jubilee need. Kidero losing office will hurt Uhuru Kenyatta.
You reckon?
Oh yes, definitely. Because you cannot fight Raila and Kidero at the same time. I would say if Kidero went to a re-election, I would ask the honorable people of Nairobi to elect him. Because we want to give this very clear message to Kenya.
But you saw Twitter last night.
Yeah.
Twitter was aflame.
Yes.
And most people were hating on Kidero. They were saying, bring back Baba Yao.
No, but I know who that is. It's Mike Sonko. Mike Sonko has a fight with Kidero, which is personal. I am talking about Kidero's managerial capacity. I'm not talking, there is no doubt he was elected the governor of Nairobi. I voted for him. It's the only one I didn't vote for on the TNA ticket. But I voted for Kidero. Because if you give me a choice between Waititu and Kidero, I'll vote Kidero 2 times over. Koinange, let me tell you, Senate must be also careful. Because, by the way, now you've reminded me a story. Because I want Uhuru to remember. Before he went to London for the PSC report, I had lunch with him with James Orengo at this restaurant on another road.
And
what do you call the Japanese?
Mr. No.
Aha. Now, you don't know.
You just remembered that just now.
I just remembered. No, I was just going to tell you a story about Sonko. Because yesterday I was in Nairobi Club. And I saw him driving on the wrong side of the road with 5 cars, with a sarin. Sonko is just a senator. Can this man calm down? Anyway, moving from that, I don't want the Senate to become a policeman of the issue of public opinion, Jeff. Let me tell you, these governors, like by-elections of MPs, people, if you don't agree, send them back to the people. I don't know if judges can keep people in parliament, like in the Mary Wambui case. I disagree with that. I thought the Othaya people had a right to re-elect her or give her opponent a chance. My worry now is we are inviting the courts to come in and invade public issues. And I think this is disastrous to Kenya. We must allow the public will. 1 man, 1 vote. Secondly, you must remember, Kidero represents more than the governorship of Nairobi. He represents the diversity of Kenya. I wish we had a Maasai governor in Mombasa. I wish we had a Kikuyu governor in Mandela. I wish we had a woman president in Kenya. I wish this country can just get out of bigotry. And can we move on and leave Kidero alone?
Well, Frederick Okango says, I hear you loud and clear. President Uhuru has a chance to redeem himself from this Anglo leasing scandal. You agree, Tony?
I said this, in order a chance, he has a responsibility. Uhuru is a friend. And of course, you know, your uncle and your brothers, you have blood with Uhuru. But now he's not yours, Jeff. He's the president of the Republic of Kenya. He has sworn to uphold the constitution and protect Kenyans. He cannot sit in State House and allow Kenyans to be raped or to be looted as he watches. It is a constitutional obligation which he sought. Let me also say this. We have a manifesto in Jubilee of our education. We have a manifesto that people voted for. But that manifesto is a promise, as was his signature at the PSC report.
Okay, we have a caller from Maua. You are live on the air. Caller, talk to me.
Hello, Jeff.
Yes, go ahead. You are live on the air.
And first, I want to congratulate Tony for what he's saying. I think he's the only true Kenyan that we have right now at around this time. And he's telling it the way it's supposed to be told. And I just wish that our president is watching this, because our nation is running down on a day-to-day basis. Our executive is not working. They've gone to sleep. They are letting the judiciary do whatever they want. People need to realize that we have a president, and a president who has to act and act now.
Good.
People are complaining every day.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we got your point. Thank you.
Issues of insecurity.
Yeah. We're going to get to insecurity in a moment. Thank you for that call, Tony.
Waswahili wanasema kama si sasa ni sasa hivi. I like that guy from Embu. Wewe unajua Kiswahili, Jeff?
Najua.
Kama sio saa hii, sasa hivi.
Sasa hivi.
The president must act not tomorrow. Kama he must act sio saa hii, sasa hivi.
Bubblegum says this guy is fearless. Tony, why are you speaking now? Why are you coming out of retirement to come and speak now?
Because Jeff Koinange called me. Look, even I wore a suit. Look at the shoe. I was ready. I had to come to Jeff Koinange. Who cannot say to Jeff Koinange? Yeah. I only came because I know.
Joseph Olalenko refused to come on my show.
But I'm here.
He refused to come on my show.
Will you remember him in a year? But you will never forget Tom Boya, Degama Pinto, J.M. Kariuki, or Jeff Koinange. How can you forget the people that matter? Now, Koinange, don't worry about these irrelevant people. They come and go, but you will always be here on the bench. Only one man has ever been on CNN, you and Zain Baji. How is she, by the way? Now, can we come back?
Yeah, let's come back. Let's come back. Yeah.
You know, Jeff, people should not play with you or public opinion or take it for granted. Let me make this very clear. This is a country where we need public policy. Under Article 2 of this Constitution, I remember 1 or 2, Paul Mwite was telling me the other day, we have values and morals. Uhuru, you don't need the law to do what is right. Values and morals don't have to be written in the law. They are written in the heart. I want us to be careful because there are people bleeding in this country.
Real quick, before we go to commercials, Tony, Chinese coming into town, giving us 1/10 of our GDP. And you're wearing, you got the cool Chinese suit going. $4 billion, one deal, standing gauge railway, and other goodies that they brought to us. Good thing, bad thing.
If you don't trust the government, if you don't believe in corruption, if you have got a problem, bad deal. If you trust the government, good deal. The question is this. In Angola, 240,000 Chinese were employed in the first year of the money they gave. Are these jobs going to Kenyans or are they going to Mandarin? Are they going to Chinese? Uhuru has a contract with the youth. He must allow this deal to mean real jobs, real money to the people who need it.
But they said there's going to be more than 10,000 jobs.
Jeff, the one thing that I don't like, all these, meetings in Nigeria and I don't know where. Had I been the president's advisor, and I've advised even a prime minister, one day I'll advise a president, I hope. When the president of China or prime minister of China would have come, he should have gone to Nyayo Stadium or go to Mathare or Kibera and meet the real people and tell them that news there. Why you lock him in State House with businessmen with suits? I want to understand this issue. Who is running State House? Koinange, something is wrong. Go to the people. They're the one who elect Uhuru. Please, listen to me. In 4 years' time, you will ask people to wake up. But you cannot have State House meetings, Nigeria meetings, private jets. Who was this guy, Ruto? You went with a private jet. Where did he go? How much? 100 million? And people can't eat? You can't pay. You are telling students, University of Nairobi have asked me today to tell you, Koinange.
To tell me?
Yes, I'm telling you now. The University Students Movement, I was written by Felix. And he told me to tell you they want to increase the university fees. And Jeff Koinange does not care. Do you care?
That's what they told you
No,
to tell me.
I'm telling you.
You're delivering a message.
I am saying, do you care? They want to increase fees of the people who are ready to serve this nation, educated by the poor. Because the people who go to the public university,
Yeah.
you know, my daughter is going to join them in the riots because my daughter is in a private university.
Yeah,
bless God.
But
what about
wait a
those who
minute,
are
Tony. The guys from Sonu are driving Range Rover Sports.
I am saying,
Hello?
not that.
Hello?
I am talking about an individual student from Marakwet, from Turkana, who has learned under a candle all your life. You come to the University of Nairobi and your mother can't afford. And then you increase the fees, and Jeff Koinange, you're here protecting Jimmy Wanjigi and James Bond. Can you go for the break? I need some oxygen. Can you go for the break?
Are you running this show now?
No, I'm
going to need this extinguisher,
Are you
Tony.
going to talk about the students?
I might have to use the extinguisher.
Are you going to talk about
Tony, I'm going to have to.
Are you going to talk about this?
On that note, oh my, somebody called G4S. Better yet, get Recce Squad on Jimmy. Oh no, Frank Tony Gachoka.
He's called Jimmy. Is it in your head? No, I'm called Tony. Jimmy's called James Bond.
Yeah.
I'm called Tony Gachoka. Tony Gachoka.
That is hashtag. God. Let's take a break. Come back. Talk some more. This man, whatever he's having, Chapua Meza.
Who do have a drink?
Oh, no, you didn't. Back in a moment. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental. And you know when Tony Gachoka shows up, it's nothing but a shocker. In fact, the sign language interpreter out there is going crazy. He doesn't know what to do. Tony, what's going on, man?
You remember when the ANC was fighting for freedom? I like when you sing. Shosholoza, Shosholoza. What was the song? Do you remember it?
Yes, Shosholoza.
Koinange, let me say this to your sign interpreter. When a song means something, you don't have to know the words. You just feel the music.
Like that translator at the Mandela funeral?
By the way, interesting. Mandela funeral. Mandela
Yeah, okay,
agreement.
let's come back. Sydney Mbiuki says, you are the man, the rest are boys. This guy, hataki nye nye nye. That's what Mbiuki says. Peter Cash says, I think Tony Gachoka is corded. My feelings nayo. Vincent Chepkoni says, for once, I'm on the same page with Gachoka. Wow.
Now, let me ask you this, Jeff. What about you, Koinange?
What about me?
Yeah. Are you on the side of the people or the side of who? Because you can read all the SMSs, but Koinange, Jeff, this is a time for the country.
But
it's a time we must come together.
Yeah, but Tony, I'm not going to play to the gallery. You're playing to the gallery.
Am I?
You're playing to the gallery.
Then Jeff, can you jump me the pool? Give me this thing, we throw it there. Now give me this thing. Can I have it? Because you see, Jeff, let me tell you, who is going to help the poor man?
Is it going to be you, Tony?
I don't know, Jeff, because all I am saying is that good men cannot remain silent. Only when it's dark enough can you see the stars. Martin Luther King said, and can I say you this?
Go on.
5 score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation and the Decree of Independence. And I'm saying today, in this country called Kenya, PLO Lumumba, I hope you're watching. Because Jeff Koinange needs a library to hear what I'm saying. Put the crooks in jail. And really, is it an issue for a degree, a doctorate?
Yeah. I have to read this text. This text, I have to read it, Tony.
Yeah.
You're going to love this.
Yeah.
None other than Dr. David Matsanga.
I tell you.
Someone who's always calling you this, that, and the other. Matsanga says, you might not like me, but I love this show and love Tony on the Anglo leasing. I support Tony. Kenya should not pay for something when people are here and eating the money. No, no, no. Let those who are bribed pay.
I ask the question again. What does Jeff Koinange say? Because you've told me, and now let me ask you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I want to remember, I hear, I don't know if you know, in America, Obama's term is ending. Already there's a fight to inherit him in the Democratic Party. And they want Hillary Clinton to run.
Correct.
And the Bushes are talking about Jeb Bush.
Correct.
Is this going to become, in this country, an issue of you give who is who? I am concerned about modern democracy. Winston Churchill said that democracy is the best form of freedom, but it's the best we've got. In other words, is this country going to become, we move from one generation to another of they who have and those who have not? Oh, I remember William Ruto saying that he came to Jubilee because he was a hustler, and now he's rich. Now, I want to ask you this question.
Well, how is he rich?
No,
How do you know? How is he rich?
I'm just asking the question. Jeff, you can also answer a question. Because now, everything you want to put at Tony Gachoka. What I'm only asking is a simple question. Are we dealing with a poor man, or did we come to eat the government? And I'm saying as Jubilee, we must make things different. We must retreat. It's not over, but we must stop now. I'm a card-carrying member of the National Alliance Party of Kenya. I have a right to talk to my president. I have a right to talk to Sakaja, who you brought here. And I'm happy he's not here, and he can never come back to sit with me, because after he came here, he had no answer. And in fact, right now, we have a problem and we have a crisis in Jubilee. And ODM know better, because the men in black.
Okay.
Now listen to me, Jeff.
Tony,
honestly, on the issue of public policy.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I shouldn't, because you're an award-winning journalist, and I should behave on your show. But let me say, Jeff. One thing, Article 2 of the Constitution talks about morals and values. And I raise that issue to you. As this president has a goodwill from Africa, from China, from everywhere in the world, Uhuru enjoys a place even his father, Jomo Kenyatta, has never enjoyed.
So all this...
don't waste it on aglo-listen,
okay.
Uhuru.
Real quick, Tony, we don't have too much time. Let's talk about insecurity in the country, because, last weekend you saw Mombasa, 2 bombs, and then the following day, Nairobi, 2 bombs. And look, people are living scared. They're watching their back, looking behind their back.
Do you have an SMS or a Twitter to God? Could somebody bring back Michuki? Can somebody bring back John Michuki? You want me to tell you? Who is John Michuki? I miss him.
Okay, barring any divine intervention of bringing Michuki back.
Go back to Utali and look for Michuki. Please, this country needs security. Jeff, what is worrying me is that it's becoming too much now. The country is bleeding. You cannot lose more lives because we have no command at the center. It comes back to State House Kenya. I don't like coming on your program fighting the president.
Yeah, but
the president has no choice. I have no choice.
Yeah.
He's left me no choice. I talked to him.
Do you think Al-Shabaab, you talked to him, Do you think Al-Shabaab looks at some of the situations here and they laugh at us?
I'm sorry about terrorism, because I've tried to stand by the men in blue. Because, Jeff, let me tell you, it's not a job you want or I want. Even policemen have died. Don't forget they died in Kamkunji, near Shaurimoya. Is it Shaurimoya?
Pangani as well.
Pangani. So the men in blue are also dying, and they're trying the best. So you can't also fight all policemen. But really, there must be a general that people trust.
Which general, Tony?
I've never said...
If it was up to you, who would you appoint?
I would say this, because I can't resurrect Michuki. And I have no capacity to do that. I would say this, and I would not retire General Ali either, but I would say this. I would move Kamau from transport, because the president respects him, and he's a farm man, and I'll put him in charge of security.
Who'd you put in transport?
You Jeff Koinange.
What about Olelenku?
Back to Utali. Or here or the pool. The man is gone. The man has made no dent in building or creating public trust. He's a cabinet secretary who serves at the pleasure of the president. I would say, Olelenku, if I were you, I would resign. I would not wait to be sacked. It doesn't mean you're a bad man. It just means you can't do your job.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with not being able to do your job. Jeff, if you couldn't bring Tony Gachoka here, I would be watching the bench. He would care. I mean, everyone can have a bench, but there's only one Jeff Koinange. Now, I want to
remind this man to come on this show.
I want to remind you about Yoweri Museveni.
Yeah.
And this is interesting.
YK.
He's a very interesting man, because the man came through the gun from Tanzania. Do you remember that journey, Jeff?
Yeah.
Do you remember Museveni came with a gun?
It was from Rwanda, yeah.
Rwanda?
Yes.
Do you remember he went and Kampala was attacked?
Yes.
And Tanzania supported
with a handful of troops.
And he took power?
Yeah.
How many years has Museveni been in power? Has there been any constitutional change there? Let me ask you
What's
this.
your point, Tony? Museveni has done a decent job over there.
I'm asking about our neighbors. I'm asking about Uganda and Rwanda, and why this president cannot fail, and why he needs to call Raila Odinga. And I'm saying today, at JKL, Uhuru needs to call Raila and say, on the issue of insecurity, we must be together. Can you come to State House for a cup of tea? If I was Uhuru, I'll bring Raila. This is a time for the country to be together on one thing of carnage and terrorism. Forget the politics, Uhuru. Bring security to Kenya. Bridge the gaps.
And what's that going to do?
A message of unity. Let me tell you, when the West and NATO, what is NATO? What does NATO
How is that going to change things, Tony? How is that going to change things?
Does America go alone or does America look for its allies? And the war on terror, Kenya must be together.
Tony.
I am saying, and listen, it's difficult for Jubilee people to hear. It's difficult for CORD people to hear. But on the war of terror, there is no political divide. We must bring everybody together and we must fight this thing. And remember Yusuf, my friend, the MP for Kamkunji, almost lost his life. Correct. And he's a Somali. So I don't want to profile Somalis, but I'm saying this. We must come together beyond politics. Even you, Koinange, and this wonderful tie will be blown away by a bomb like I saw on Thika. My daughter goes to USIU. What would happen if my daughter was driving to school? What would happen, you, Jeff, if you were driving there? It's time to call security a problem. Orelenku is not my subject, but he cannot handle this security docket. I think what we need is national cohesion and cooperation. We need to help the governors. We need to help the police. We need to help the president. We have to come together.
There's a guy called Kashi. He says, this guy, Tony, is really on fire. Let him meet me at Nairobi Club for a drink or two.
But now...
They're watching you from Nairobi Club.
Hi there. Hi, Nairobi Club. How you doing? But now, is that where I ask you this? Nairobi Club is an interesting place because the lawns are nice, the parking is sweet. What if a bomb came and Relunku was asleep? Jeff, what happened to Westgate? Where is the report? What happened? I thought there was meant to be a presidential report on who 4 men held the army, the Raka squad, at Jeff Koinange for 4 days. Where are those? Even you, Jeff, what happened to you? You asked me once about Westgate. Why have you not asked me tonight? What happened at Westgate? 4 men?
And we still don't have that report out, Tony. The report is still not out.
Is there anywhere in the world where 4 men can hold a country hostage?
For 4 days?
For 4 days? And let me say this. We must deal with terrorism head to head. And Jeff, it's a subject I don't want to spend much time on because I know there are secret operational details that the intelligence, the president, and the police are doing. And I must forgive the public for being impatient. But I also know that some things are strategic and they are about security. I give that to the president. But the PR must be run by confidence. And that's why Orelenku cannot do it. Or Rachel Mama.
Speaking of PR, Tony.
Rachel Mama.
Right, speaking of PR.
Yes.
Late yesterday. IG, David Kamau's office issues this proclamation, if you will.
Oh, God.
Cars with tinted windows will be impounded. And Twitter and social media went crazy. By the time it was clarified that it was PSVs, people were in a panic. People were driving with windows down this morning.
And I'm saying to you...
PR.
No, Jeff, this is the crisis in the country. The executive, the attorney general is asleep. This man called Professor Gedu Muigai is a professor of silence. You know, you have not... Listen, Jeff, you have to have a public duty, honestly. Why is this man Attorney General? Can he go and run his law firm? Can we have somebody to serve and help the president? Attorney General who can advise government departments. You're having a fight in lands between a minister and a land commission. You're having an Inspector General speaking against the Constitution. People have a right to live in this country peacefully unless they give you a threat. The problem in this country, we are contaminated because we have brought friends into government. Professor Gedu Muigai is an embarrassment, in my view, to lawyers in Kenya. He's an embarrassment. In fact, I think him and Wako are rank in incompetence among the attorney generals I know. And no wonder Charles George didn't come on the bench. And I don't think any attorney general, former or present, will come here because they cannot defend what they have done. Really, feel mercy on
this guy. Let's take a call, man. Let's take a call. Arusha from Kasarani. Arusha, you are live on JKL. Talk to me.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah. Kasarani.
Kisirani. Now, Koinange, now, because I know the show is coming to an end.
Yes.
All good things must come to an end.
All good things.
And I go back to retirement. Before I go back to the... Are you going to the World Cup?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm not going.
What team are you supporting?
Any African team that makes it. You know, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, I'm all for them.
Are you dreaming? Is it possible?
It's possible they will go farther than they've gone before.
And in Africa, do you have a favorite team? Cameroon, Nigeria?
Nigeria. Always Nigeria.
Is it?
Super Eagles.
Now, let me ask you, the final. Is it Brazil in the final?
Well, you know, as hosts, they're definitely favorites.
Are you sure? No Spain again?
Well, it's tough to repeat.
No.
It's tough to repeat.
Could I say this, because I've been very hard on my brother Uhuru? I want to say something to the First Lady, Margaret Kenyatta. History will remember you because you are courageous and honest. You ran for Kenya and we rooted for you. You don't speak, but you act. Can somebody act? Koinange, can you close this show? I want to go to the Nairobi Club. Well done, Margaret, and God bless you.
I can't believe you tell a husband, you throw stones at her husband, and you turn around and you just...
I have never seen a woman so committed.
Okay, so...
7 hours she ran for Kenya.
7 hours.
7 hours.
And she's going to do more.
I tell you, she didn't speak. She ran.
Yeah.
Koinange,
What a first time.
I can't even swim 2 lengths from here. No, Margaret Kenyatta,
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless Jeff Koinange. I have to go.
No, don't go.
Jeff,
Don't
listen,
go.
I'm busy.
What
Jeff.
if your friend Muna is listening?
No.
If your friend Muna is listening, what do you tell him?
James Bond is 007. I can give you the address. Pick him up now. Sasa hivi. Jeff, goodbye. I'm happy to be at the bench. And goodbye.
It only happens on JKL. A guest walks off and he's gone, leaving me reading the tweet. Can't make this stuff up. Tony Gachoka, I don't know why he walked away, but let me read a couple of tweets here. Odek Ochung, you say, looks a little inebriated, but as we all know, drunkards are ever so honest. I tell you. We have a caller for Tony. Tony's not quite here, but caller, you are live on the air. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Okay, Fidel Wandago. You said.
Like that.
Hello, go ahead.
Why is he just gone like that?
Yeah, like the wind.
I want to talk to him.
Okay, talk to me and I'll talk to him.
Where is he? He's gone. Is he afraid of the question?
What is the question?
I think you called him from retirement, sir.
Yes, and he's gone right back. All right.
The guy is sender.
Okay, thank you, caller. Let's go to a tweet. Fidel Wandago, you say, I like how you drive your points head on, Tony Gachoka. If only you were here to hear this, Tony. Kinyanjui AG, you say, I support Tony Gachoka on most issues. Even TNA needs to take a step back and refocus. All right, Tony.
Jim, I had a caller.
Welcome back.
I was going to the car.
He missed you, man. The callers are missing you.
I see.
Arusha is on air from Kasarani. Let's see if... Okay, Arusha, you are on the air. Tony is back. Talk to us.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
This is Arusha from Kasarani.
We know that. Go ahead.
I like that guy, Tony Gachoka. About the issue of, he commented about the railway. What I just wanted to say, these people are going to construct the railway from Mombasa through the Tsavo East and Tsavo West.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I don't think whether our elephants will be...
Yeah.
I like that caller. That's a very important issue.
Okay.
Yeah, the issue. No, I like that.
And First Lady's right behind that, huh? Hands off our elephants.
No. Let me say this. It's hard issue, the railway. It's like the way who had to make a decision. This cabinet had to make a decision. We have to move forward. Like KICC had gone.
Yeah.
And an executive decision was made in the public interest to get KICC back to the people.
Correct.
I think the railway
is
something that we must monitor by media and public.
Before I ask you for final thoughts, Tony, Robert Alai and a whole bunch of people out there are asking this question. Is Tony Gachoka drunk?
Do I look drunk? Because I have come here to speak my mind? Koinange Jeff, can you tell that man that this bench is open to any Kenyan? I was invited and I came. And I'll go away back to retirement. But I want something to say there.
Hold on. Before you say it, let's speak to Abdi from Garissa. Abdi, you are live on JKL. Talk to me.
Hello, Jeff.
Yes, Abdi, go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling from Garissa.
Mm-hmm. Abdi, any day now. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm calling from Garissa.
Yes.
Tony Gachoka is one man I used to hate very much. Before.
And now?
But today,
Yes.
I love him very much.
Okay, Abdi, thank you very much. Is Garissa in another country? I mean, why that delay? What's the deal? Anyway, they love you very much. Tony, final thoughts.
Jeff, I want to take you on a journey. And the journey I want to say, and there are many people who have done this. You know, my most favorite person in the world is Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Because she never said, she did. It is time for us in Kenya to stop talking and to do. And it is time now for us to become sincere and honest. And why I was talking about the region and integration in the country is because Kenyans are tired. In fact, I read 4 million Kenyans never voted. Some never even registered. My worry is we are going to bring apathy to this country because people vote because of ideas, not because of geography or religion or because of tribe. And I'm saying it's a time I had to come because I know I had to come here and tell Uhuru. And I'm telling you, Uhuru, Tony Gachoka is telling you, we have a problem in this country. Please serve this country or resign.
You're telling the president that?
Yes.
You're telling the president?
Yes. It is time now to act as the president. We have security. We have got agro-listen. We have got issues of integrity. I wish the First Lady would speak to her husband because she acts and does not speak. Jeff, can I now go? I also want to ask you.
Before you go, Tony, can I wind up? Is that okay before you walk out?
No, but it's my show. You're watching Jeff Koinange live with Tony Gachoka. Anyway, now Jeff, it's up to you. Tell me.
Mr. President, the views expressed by my guests are his and his alone. If you want to call Reki, you know where Tony lives.
At Nairobi Club. But let me say
No,
this.
Tony, the show's over. The show's over.
No, there's one thing I have to say. No, Uhuru is a nice man. Just tell him good night. Be courteous, Jeff. Say good night to the president.
Tony Gachoka. At Tony Gachoka. And at Koinange Jeff, hashtag JKL tomorrow night. If it's Thursday, you know it's all about inspiration and overcoming insurmountable odds. Meet Georgine Auma. She is deaf to the world, but when she speaks, the world listens. You're going to enjoy that show tomorrow, same time, same place.
KTN.
Right here on Kenya's television network, KT.
Retirement.
Thanks for watching. Good night. Good luck. Tony,
I want